Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Right. Okay, so are we ready to, we're in the middle of doing the voting for the video on YouTube. So how far, could you just remind us how far we've got with that?
Well, the motion was to approve the clerk putting the videos of the meetings on YouTube. We've had 3 people vote so far. We've got Frank proposing, Sean seconding, and JR has voted in favour. So the motion is to approve the parish clerk putting the videos on YouTube. Andrew Peake, you have your hand up.
I have, because I was not able to put my point across before the proposal. These meetings could be live streamed to YouTube, just like the Borough Council does. Then there would be no reason for the clerk's extra work in recording and uploading to YouTube, which, believe me, it takes some time and it's difficult. But live streaming, as the Borough Council do, would be a far, far better way to go.
Okay,
So
thank you
I
for
should
that.
okay, we have a proposal going, so I can't. I would like to propose another alternative to the motion, but we'll see if I'm able to.
Okay, June, for or against the original motion?
Well, I was for it.
Thank you. Keith Osborne, for or against?
For, and I hope not to have to refer to you as Jackie Weaver in the future, Jimmy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. John Walsh, for or against?
Yes, 4.
Richard, for or against?
4.
Andrew, for or against?
Well, I'm against, only because I think there's a better way to go. So I'm against.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So moving on to number 11, yes? No? Which
Sorry,
is
can we go back?
Yeah, go on then, Keith.
Well, Andrew has just said he has a better theory. Can we ask Andrew what that theory is?
Well, he's already said, hasn't he?
well, it's just what he said. It's streamlining it, but
Streaming
Oh, right, sorry, I missed that.
streaming it or something, whatever that is.
Okay.
Frank Brown.
Yeah, I think you'll have a page in the Sun then, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Right, so so is the motion carried on what we voted on?
It
or are
is,
we
yeah, it's carried.
Okay, right. So am I moving on to number 11?
Andrew Peake has his hand up.
Okay, Andrew?
Well, am I allowed to make a second proposal that we live stream? And it's just I believe it's just a flick of a button on the screen to live stream, and then there can be no argument about whether the video has been edited or bits and pieces not put on or anything like that. Negates all that argument. Just live stream straight through, and then it's recorded on YouTube forevermore. So
Could I
my
ask you,
proposal
is there a
is to,
cost for that? Do you know?
There's no cost for that. It's owned by Google. They want our information. There's no cost for that. No.
Okay.
So can I make a second proposal?
My concern is with 2 motions, if they both pass, then what do we do? Keith Osborne.
I was only going to say, can I hear what you're saying, Andrew? Can we just leave it to Jimmy to do? It's the same result, basically. I hear streamlining prevents anybody doctoring the recording. But if Jimmy wants to do it either way, can we leave it to the clerk to decide and make a professional decision?
Frank Brown.
I'm quite happy for Jimmy to do it how he did it before, how he's gone to do it, how that was done, and him recording it and putting it on YouTube.
JR.
Yeah, I'll go with that. We've had a vote. The vote has been passed. We can go on like this. If we decide to change it in 6 months' time, then we can change it. So
Hayden
I
Fertile.
would think the vote that's passed, and I think we should stick to it.
Yeah. Hayden Fertile.
Yeah, thank you. I think you've got 1 or 2 procedural problems here, in as much as Andrew tried to amend the motion. If that if his motion, I believe, is seconded, that then take preference over the first motion. So I think you've got a real procedural problem here, and you need to go back and relook at what you've done.
Okay, what I will do, I will check the standing orders before the next meeting, and if this is not within the standing orders, we can look at this again next month. If it is within the standing orders and acceptable, then the stuff will go on YouTube immediately. Richard.
I think you should have asked if there was a seconder for Andrew's motion first before you made a decision on the first one. Thank you.
Richard,
So I don't know why you're still talking about this. Number 10 has been finished with. We've got on to 11.
Frank Brown.
Yeah, I think we got too many parish councillors now. I think the first motion should stand, and that's the end of it. I mean, hopefully we won't do it more in about another 3 months.
Okay,
Adrian
well,
Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is correct. If there is a seconder for Andrew's motion, that needs to go now. But if the bottom line is there a seconder? If there's not a seconder, end of the matter.
June.
Adrian, you took me right.
So June, would you ask for a seconder for Andrew's?
right, okay, so do I have a seconder for Andrew's proposal? Do I take it there's no, because I can't see whether any hands are up or
There's
not,
no
so I'm
hands up.
taking no hands up. So then the first vote that has been taken would stand then.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we'll move on to number 11, the crossing update. Well, all the parish councillors have received the email from Justin LeMay. Last month, there was a discussion of a petition and a survey. And on that note, I'd like to bring in John Walsh, because he had kindly offered to help do this, to do a petition. And I believe you've got something to chat to us about, John.
Yes, June. First of all, I did email, albeit late in the day, a suggestion for a petition that we could leave at the post office in Fleggburgh with Adrian Thompson's kind permission. I don't know what anybody thinks about that, but it certainly pulled some weight when we were campaigning to get a bus route through the village. So I think that we should support that and see if there's anywhere else that we could leave the petition as well. In normal circumstances, I would have suggested the surgery, but people can't go in there at the moment. But other people might have other ideas. And my second point is that I think instead of all of us discussing it, would it not be a better idea to have 2 or 3 councillors working on the crossing as like a little subcommittee, if you like, and then report back to the full committee when there's anything to say. I don't know what you think of that idea.
Frank Brown.
Yeah, I don't think that'd do any harm having a petition, but other than that, I think that should be left till this pandemic is over and let it sort itself out. But you can get a petition going, no problem.
Richard.
But you'll only put it in the post office at the minute, won't you? You won't put it anywhere else. You won't put it in the pub or the surgery, as you say.
Okay, Richard Sewell.
I think before you talk about anything on this whatsoever, is where's the money coming from? I mean, they said a figure of 60,000. That ain't going to be done this year. What's that going up to next year? Where's the money coming from? Everyone has got ideas. We ain't got the money. I think I ought to be settled where the money's coming from before you do anything else.
Frank Brown.
I think the general idea of John's idea is to get enough support so the borough council support it and pay for it. That's the idea, how I read it anyway.
And also, if the survey was done at an appropriate time when it's busy, it would prove that there is some need for a crossing. And in that case, that there would be some, probably some grants that we would get towards this. But at the moment, we're in a no-win situation because of COVID really. So I think the best thing we can do at the moment, as you say, is at least start off with the petition. It is a start. And we've also had some very kind offer from Jackie Payne, I believe, to help with surveys in the future. But at the moment, there's obviously no point in doing that because the roads are so quiet. So could we agree at the moment that I thought the wording seemed very good that you'd written on the petition, John, and if everyone else has seen it, if they feel happy with that wording and we've got the offer, as you say, of putting it in the Filby post office, it would be a start.
Yeah, can I just say that this is crossing update on the agenda, so as such, no vote can be taken today.
No, okay.
JR.
Oh, well, I was got to support that, but yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I'm all for a petition. We've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Richard
So could we put, sorry.
Richard Sewell.
All I was going to say, by reading that notice right that you put up in the post office, that's saying at Fleggburgh School and the village hall. To me, that's saying 2 crossings. Or am I reading it wrong?
Adrian Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. All we really want the meeting tonight is to clarify that they're happy with the wording and that we can get it in the post office as soon as this meeting's finished.
That's on it's on the word, and there's 2 on the word, and as I read it.
No,
right or wrong?
No, it's only one crossing, Richard. It's only one crossing which should read near the school and village hall. It's one crossing. But we need to.
As I read it, we need near the school and near the village hall.
We need to keep the momentum going on this, and at this stage we can only do, as has been said before, we can only do a petition, but to keep it in people's minds. And what I would ask, I don't know if Jimmy's got anywhere with this, that we ask Justin LeMay that I think we deserve another survey, because when they done this survey, we were in the middle of this pandemic, the village hall was shut, the road was quieter. We need some real-time figures, and I think the fact that we paid for a survey, I don't think we got our bite of the cherry on that. So have we got any further with that, Jimmy, of having a second survey?
Well, I did get an email back from Justin, which went round to all the parish councillors, and basically he said no.
No, and we're not happy with that. Can you take that up, Hayden? We deserve about another survey, I think.
Yeah, I think you've got a very valid argument for another survey, and I would suggest that was probably the way forward. I think if you don't go down that path, all the council will do is they'll go back to the original survey and say, look, there is no need. We can prove that. So I think that the only way forward is when COVID is over with, when things get back to normal, have a second survey. That way you might well have the evidence to support an application. Currently, you haven't got that.
So would you be able to support us then, Hayden, and going to the Justin LeMay about this to say that's what we feel we want?
I certainly will write to Justin and say that I felt that it was an inappropriate time to do it, and that does warrant reassessment at a more realistic time, when the school's open, when the pub is open, when the village hall is open, and during the summer. And I think that you might well get a different outcome from the survey, and that's it's just worth waiting, I feel.
Okay, thank you. So if we could ask you kindly to do that. In the meantime, we can consider doing this petition, get the ball rolling with that, and then look to the future of what surveys we can possibly do ourselves.
Frank Brown.
Yeah, the only thing that concerned me is, do they want paying again for another survey? I mean, that's all very well, but
no, I mean,
we can't keep paying for surveys. I mean, we'll just have to put a lot of pressure on them and get another survey done, mainly.
No, Hayden was perfectly right. We need one in the proper time, not in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, that was totally unfair.
I quite agree we do.
Yeah.
But they haven't got to charge us again, are they?
John Walsh. I'm just going back to an earlier point. The wording on the petition was to have pedestrian crossing installed on the main road, Fleggburgh, near to the school and village hall, because the actual site will be determined by the highways department where they think it's the safest place to put it. So we could say outside the school, but it could be a few yards away from the school. It could be a few yards away from the village hall. But there is only one crossing. And I do agree that we should know about the whether there's any cost implications about us having a second survey, although I would support a second survey when the restrictions and everything back to normal.
Andrew Peake.
Going back to the petition, is it just a matter of just altering the wording just a little bit so it makes it clearer that there is only one crossing, and then we can move on?
Couldn't it be between? Couldn't we say between the village hall and the school? That would imply it would be one crossing, and it's likely to be between the two anyway, isn't it? Would that be okay?
Keith Osborne.
Sorry, can I come back?
Just wait. Yeah, I was only going to, as well as posting the petition for actual physical signatures in Fleggburgh Post Office, I assume we will be advertising it on the Parish Council website, and maybe the admins of both the Fleggburgh Residents Association Facebook page and Fleggburgh Local Chat could advertise it on there so everyone knows where to go to.
Yeah.
John Walsh.
Yeah, just getting back again, it did say to have a pedestrian crossing, but we can always alter that to have a thing in the vicinity of those two locations, the pool and the hall. There's never any suggestion that there's going to be two crossings there.
No,
hard enough to get one.
But wouldn't it be fair to say it would be between the village hall and the school?
Yeah, okay. I'll take that on board, Joan, and we can amend that.
Okay.
JR.
Yeah, well, I think that's relatively simple. And I mean, that is a crossing for the village hall and for the school. I mean, you'd have one crossing and 99.9% of the children who go to school cross near the village hall and walk down a footpath down the side of the playing field. So that's where the crossing needs to be. That's a crossing, the village hall.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
And that'll serve the village hall and the school.
Yeah.
And the station park.
John Walsh.
So to move this on, unless there's any objections, I'm going to just go ahead with the petition at the post office. I'm not going to raise a formal motion on it. I'm just going to do it, and I hope that that's going to be okay with everybody.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's a good start. So should we move now on to number 12, which is the Village Hall car park? All I've got to say is the car park is run by the Village Hall Committee. I'm not sure who put this on the agenda. I think it was on last time and we ran out of time. So I don't know if this. Oh.
Yeah, I was just got to say, why is this on the agenda? I can't see any point in this at all.
Andrew Peake.
No doubt there's a record who asked for it to be on the agenda. It was not me. All the documents I've seen, the conveyancing document, I think from 1940 something, it gifts the land to the parish, not the village hall. So the village hall, I believe, has no jurisdiction to do anything with the village hall car park, because their remit is for the village hall building and the confines of the building, which may actually be the building that was demolished 20 years ago. That's my understanding, and I think that's proven in the documents that the parish council has a copy of, as I say, the conveyancing document from the 40s, and this is for the parish council to operate the car park.
JR.
Well, as far as I understand it, the village hall is responsible for the car park. I don't agree with that at all.
Have you read the conveyancing document, Jonathan?
I have a long time ago, but I can't spring it, but I'm sure we can find something along the lines. I'll have a look again, Andrew.
Frank Brown.
We employ, or we get formed, or let the village hall committee take over running the village hall and the playing field and that is it. They take the responsibility away from the parish council. We cannot cross them. Let them do the job what we assigned them to do. They run the village hall, they run the playing field for the parish council. The parish council are on it, quite right. But that's always been the case, that we set up a village hall. They set up a village hall committee to run the village hall and the playing field. So
Yes.
I don't think we need to do this any further.
Okay, so
So Frank, as a trustee of the Village Hall Committee and the governing document of the charity that has a responsibility to run the Village Hall has as its governing document the conveyancing document with the gift of the land to the parish, which states that the Village Hall Committee be formed to have jurisdiction and control over the Village Hall and playing field. The car park is not mentioned. The car park is still up the land that was gifted to the parish in 1940. I might be wrong. It was. I'm quoting 1947.
That all go together, Andrew. The village hall and the car park and the playing field. That's all one unit. That was one field.
And
which the village hall, which the parish bought in around about 47, didn't they? Something like that.
Frank, I think you're wrong. And I'll just ask
well,
you
I'm
the point
always
of,
wrong according to you, so I meant let's carry on.
okay,
if I may be allowed to continue, I ask you the question: who has the responsibility for the maintenance of the bowls green?
The Bowls Club.
And is
That's a separate
responsibility
club on the playing field? That's a separate club which has been formed. I was actually involved in setting that up years ago, and that was, we were given permission to have a bowls green, but the Bowls Club has to maintain their green. They do it as the Bowls Club maintain it, pay for it, and everything else.
Sean
The
Hayden.
village hall doesn't have anything to do with the Bowls Club. The Bowls Club's a separate entity within the playing field. The same as if you had tennis courts, you'd have a tennis club, which they did have tennis courts one time.
Sean
Chairman,
Hayden.
please, may I speak? No, please.
so I mean, we're running short of time yet again. So what's it you wanted to say in response to that? Because Sean is waiting to speak. I don't know where this is all going.
Standing orders state that questions be put to the chair, and my question to you is to ask Mr. Parish Councillor Brown if there is any documentation to say that the Bowls Club has responsibility, duty, or ownership of the land that they occupy at all.
Okay,
I think we're just wasting time. I don't think we're achieving anything for the parish whatsoever on this conversation. The Bowls Club, that's been a recognised thing from day one, that the Bowls Club they set up a Bowls Club within the playing field, and the Bowls Club maintain it and pay for everything to do with it. They have to pay for their water to the village hall, and that's all.
Right, thank you. Well, I think I don't know if Sean wanted to say something, but I think we should move. We're going off the subject of the car park in any event, and so I think we need to move on to the parish stave. But Sean, did you want to say something, or did you put your hand down? I don't know.
Sean?
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't unmuted. Yeah, I have been informed by the Village Hall Committee Secretary that they manage and have the responsibility of the playing fields. So, like has been discussed, the parish council owns the land, but the trustees uphold the asset.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move now on to number 13, which is the parish stave. The parish stave is run and managed by the Poor Trust. The Poor's Trust is nothing to do with Fleggburgh Parish Council. So I'm not sure this was, I think, on the agenda from last month, and we didn't get round to dealing with it. But any questions concerning that should be directed to the Poor Trust.
Frank Brown.
We see no point in having this on the agenda, as June said. We've got no control over the access. We've got no control over the broadshore. All that happens is anybody who live in the village has got access to launch a boat, take a boat down there, launch it, and after they come back, bring it away. They cannot leave a boat down there. That's the only part of the parish that involves. Parishes, parishioners have got the opportunity to launch a boat and bring it back, but they cannot leave it down there. We don't control the access as board trustees. And
Okay,
launch
thank
about
you.
the only school.
Keith Osborne.
Can I ask where the state is?
Mr. Chairman, before we go any further, can I make
Yeah.
this quite clear? There's been said before to parish councillors, anything to do with Fleggburgh Port Trustees
Trust-
is
yeah.
not to come up at a parish council meeting in Fleggburgh. Full
Yeah.
stop.
No. You're
Okay,
quite wrong. You're quite
so
wrong, Adrian.
So can I have an answer to my
No.
question?
Yeah, that's down the
it's on the
common.
common land, on the common land.
Right, can we mark it on the map then if it's there for all parishioners to use?
Well, again, we'd have to, I mean, that's something for the Paul's Trust to consider. I think we'll have to move on to number 14, which is parish clerk joining the Fleggburgh Residents Association. Jimmy, would you like to speak here about this?
It was some time ago, actually. I think it was in December. Joanne Bray sent me an email asking if I'd like to join the Fleggburgh Residents Association because I was parish clerk. And I said to her, you know, I'll put it to the parish council, and if they give me permission, I will join it. Frank Brown.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, there isn't a resident association. That isn't an official resident association. That was set up by Andrew, and that's the end of it.
Adrian Thompson.
Oh, sorry, no, my hand's up from the previous comment, sorry.
John Walsh.
I agree with Frank. The Fleggburgh Residents Association is not a bona fide residents association with all the things that they would expect as a bona fide. I've actually checked with the UK Residents Association, and it is not recognised. So I think the name of the group is very misleading, and I don't want any parishioners of our parish to think that this is an official body, because it's not.
JR.
Okay, thank you.
I agree. I think that at the end of the day, we've got a parish, we're the parish council, we've got a parish council clerk, we've got a parish council website, and the parish council clerk is also contactable by anybody. So as far as I'm concerned, we've got no problem. Things should stay as they are.
Keith Osborne.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so can we take, do we want a proposer and a second on this? Do we need a vote?
Andrew Peake.
I propose that the clerk does not join the Residents Association. He's not a resident of Fleggburgh.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Andrew,
fine.
you got your hand up again, Andrew?
Oh, I beg your pardon, I meant to put it down. Sorry,
No worries.
wasn't quick enough.
JR.
I second that the parish clerk does not join the residents association.
Okay, John Walsh.
Shouldn't Councillor Peake have declared his interest in the Residents Association as he was the one who created it?
Do you want to respond to that, Andrew?
Sorry, I thought questions went through the clerk.
Yeah.
Chair, yes.
Well, John needs to put, what is the question, John? Or Chair, what is the question, please?
Did you set this up, the Fleggburgh Residents Association, because as it's on the agenda, should you have declared an interest in it? I think that's what John was asking.
In answer to your question, Chair, I did set up the Residents Association to represent parishioners of Fleggburgh.
Okay, but you've chosen not to declare an interest in it, as it's on the agenda.
That's absolutely right. It's yes, you did note my declaration of interest at the start. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So that answered your question, John. Mr. Walsh. Yeah. So
yeah,
are we? We're voting on
in
this.
view of that, councillors publicly declared running with our parish clerk. I think it's a bit unfair for him to be commenting on this at all.
Okay, so where have we got with this vote?
Andrew proposed that I do not join, and that's seconded by JR. So the motion is to not support me joining the Fleggburgh Residents Association. So, okay,
Yeah.
so June, for or against?
I'm for that he doesn't join the
Okay,
Residents
thank you.
Association.
Keith Osborne,
I'm abstaining.
abstaining. John Walsh,
I'm against the motion that he can't join it. I think he should be able to join it as a clerk.
okay, thank you. Richard Sewell,
For that you don't join.
thank you. Frank,
Yeah, I don't think you should join. There ain't one. So you
Thank
can't
you.
join something that don't exist.
and Sean Haken.
For.
Okay, for that motion. Thank you very much. Motion carried is I do not join the Fleggburgh Residents Association.
Thank you very much. We're very short of time, but I'll press on then. Number 15, flooding at the junction of St Margaret's Way, Mill Lane, Rollsby Road and Pipistrel Close. What response has been received? Norfolk County Council inspected this flooding, which the clerk had reported, and found no flooding. When the street scene inspector was coming to Fleggburgh, the clerk made it clear that when he reports flooding, by the time they inspect it, it has subsided. This is an issue with Norfolk County Council's inspection regime.
Andrew
So,
Peake.
yeah.
I forwarded a great deal of pictures of the flooding and a couple of videos to the clerk to forward to NCC or street scene inspector or whoever. Were those videos and photographs from a resident forwarded, please?
Can you tell me when you did that, Frank? Sorry, Andrew.
No, I can't actually, not specifically. You sent me a response, an acknowledgement to say that you would contact NCC about the matter, and I asked by reply what form of communication or complaint you'd put to NCC. I'm still awaiting a reply. Or can you remember, Jimmy? I think it was probably in January. Can you remember if you forwarded the videos and photographs from the resident to NCC?
I cannot recall getting any videos. However, it could be the case that I forwarded the pictures.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And they say they've no evidence of the flooding?
No, what happens, I report flooding quite a lot. It's a major issue, I think, in Fleggburgh, and I report it. And by the time they come out to inspect it, the flood has gone. And I made that very clear for the last street scene inspectors visit, that they keep doing this. I keep reporting flooding, and by the time they come out, it's too late. The flood's gone. Frank Brown.
Well, that's quite obvious why that flood, the pit overflowed, because that's taken all the water from the pub all the way down Town Road, Rollsby Road, into the pit. And then there's a small pipe which runs from the bottom of the pit, or the dyke at the end of the pit, Rollsby end, down, that go down, round the corner, under the road, down into another dyke, down Trex Lane into the Broad. But the pipe which goes from the pit or the dyke near the signpost at the end of the pit, well, there's a pit and then a dyke, it's too small. And what happened, the water blow up, there's a gully halfway down there and the water come up, flood up there, and that just can't get away quick enough. That's why the pit flood. And that's made worse, but since the development, because all the water off a hard surface is running into the pit, and the pit can't cope now. That take a hell of a lot of water. Right from the pub, they put a drainage system in down Town Road, Rollsby Road, into the pit. That take a lot of water, and that just don't cope. And you'll never stop it unless they put a bigger pipe into the dyke, which goes down Trex Lane.
Maybe
they
we
put
ought
the big pipes in down the bottom. They put a big pipe in under my drive. They put a big pipe in under Trex Lane at the bottom into starting to dyke, but that can't get down there quick enough because there's only a small pipe at the top of Trex Lane.
Okay, maybe we ought to point this out to them to see if anything can be done about it.
I mean, they're well aware of it because John Winnett knew for years, and the one before him, and the one before him knew. I've been told 100 times.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on then to number 16. Documentation regarding assets of Fleggburgh Parish Council. The clerk has sent out the fixed asset register to all parish councillors. Number 17, composition of employment committee. This will have to wait until the annual parish meeting as specified in the terms of reference. You can only appoint an employment committee during the annual parish council meeting. So we will have to wait until we have our annual parish council meeting where we can appoint some people to that committee. Number 18 is delegated authority. Sorry, Keith, are you waving your hands?
Yeah, got my hand up. Where
Oh, sorry, I can't see your hand. I just saw you suddenly move.
Oh,
Yes?
right, okay. Oh, I could do either, June.
Okay.
Can I? Where was the debate on item 16?
Well, did anybody say anything or put the hand up?
I did, yeah. And
Well,
you quickly moved on to 17. All I want to
I
say
don't see
here-
the blue hands, you see.
I haven't got blue hands. We've got yellow ones tonight.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I don't see any hands unless you put
Okay.
your arm up.
And all I wanted to say about the asset register is
Yes.
I was querying as do we have documents, conveyancing documents or whatever to support that we actually we have ownership of those assets, because it's come to light that we don't have. We've spoke about it earlier with the village hall. Apparently the parish council do not have a copy of the original conveyancing document, which shows what the original intent was. And I wonder with the other documents whether we have conveyancing documents or whatever, land registry documents to support those actual assets.
Okay. Jimmy, have you come across anything like that? If not, maybe we could look into that.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I haven't come across anything, but a lot of the stuff now is basically online, so you'd have to check the land registry.
Okay.
Yeah, can we propose and request that the clerk looks into this so we have the correct documentation in place?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that there is a charge for looking into, making any requests through the land registry. I'm not sure what it is. I don't think it's that expensive.
It's a minimal charge from personal experience. It's within your delegated authority under the financial regulations of Fleggburgh Parish Council that if June approves it, you can spend £100.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Frank Brown.
We got a document for the village hall. I mean, everybody had them. We had loads of copies done.
So we can source a copy of that, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew
Right.
Peake.
I had my hand up at the time, but obviously it wasn't spotted. And this is regarding item 15. I'm asking, can we ask our county councillor to put the matters of the flooding on the Raspberry Road Pipperstall Close to the Norfolk County Council, investigate and try and get a resolution for these residents? They're really quite upset about having to have a foot of water outside their drive.
Andrew, I've had my hand raised as well for item 15. There is a fundamental failing with drainage, and Norfolk County Council have took this on board. We've got 36 different organisations in Norfolk dealing with flooding, and that's Borough Council, County Council, Environmental Agency, Internal Drainage Boards. There are 36 in total. Norfolk County Council have got them all around the table. They've put £1.5 million in